What is going on, Trash Talkers? We're back with another episode for you. Today's video, we're going to give you our betting guide for Week 11 in the NFL. All that and much more coming your way right now! Hey Trash Talkers, over 85% of you are still not subscribed to the channel. Please be sure to hit that red subscribe button and turn on notifications, as it will help us create more daily content for you. Thank you and enjoy today's video. Alright Nick, Week 11 is upon us, and tonight we start off with Thursday Night Football. We have the New England Patriots taking on the Atlanta Falcons, the second time since that infamous 28-3 comeback victory that the Tom Brady-led Patriots had in the Super Bowl. Now, the Patriots are on the road, and they're favored by 7 points. There's a lot of things going their way right now with Mac Jones and this whole offense really finding their way in this defense. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this one and tell us what bet you're most comfortable with?
Oh, baby, this is going to be an absolute blowout. If you're thinking the Atlanta Falcons have a shot, get out of here. The New England Patriots are on a roll right now, and the Atlanta Falcons just got blown out by the Dallas Cowboys. We know that the same thing is going to happen this week on short notice. Probably no Cordero Patterson. Damian Harris is back. This is going to be a run-heavy game for the Patriots. It may not be a 50 burger for the Patriots, but it will be a blowout, and that's why I will be taking them at their spread at -7. I full-heartedly believe that the New England Patriots are going to run away with this one.
In our first Sunday matchup, we have the Houston Texans taking on the Tennessee Titans, and the Titans have fared really well without Derrick Henry so far, surprisingly so, and they've been able to get this passing game going, but with no Julio Jones now being put on IR and just losing pieces left and right, not sure if Bud Dupree's going to be able to play in this game. I'm going to stick away from the spread. No, I'm taking the Titans money line. They're going to easily win this game. I just don't think it's going to be by 10 points. I think the safest bet is the money line, but 10 points doesn't scare me enough. I think that if you're feeling a little risky and you like the odds a bit better, 10 points is definitely something they can cover, so don't be too afraid of it. I'm just not willing to do it for a safe bet.
Next up, we have the Green Bay Packers taking on the Minnesota Vikings. This is always a tough game. They usually split this series, and they're in Minnesota. So could the Vikings get the upset? It's quite possible, but I think that's a little risky, and I'm not even thinking about the money line. To me, that is risky too. I'm looking at the over-under, with it being 49.5 total points. I'm taking the over. I believe that you look at the Vikings offense, you look at the Packers offense, and they are explosive. Aaron Jones might not be there, but A.J. Dillon is just as good, and he's going to get the job done. It's going to be a high-scoring game, and I believe that the over is the safest you will get in this matchup.
Next up, we see the San Francisco 49ers travel all the way across the country to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are improving, I'll give them that, but they are still not a very good football team. Urban Meyer is still way over his head in the NFL, and Trevor Lawrence just does not look like the #1 overall pick he was supposed to be coming out of Clemson. The San Francisco 49ers had a huge victory over the Los Angeles Rams, and I don't want that to get to their head. I want them to continue on that war path that they were on defense. Nick Bosa really coming in hot. Jimmy Garoppolo being one of those guys that was absolutely phenomenal in this game, not making turnovers, not making stupid mistakes. The offensive line gave him enough time. You saw a lot of people getting involved in this one. I like the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to take them at -6. I think that they have what it takes to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars handily, and I think that the Jaguars are going to struggle trying to move the ball, especially with no clear #1 wide receiver. You're looking at a Jacksonville Jaguars team that looks to somebody new every single week, which means there's not a whole lot of consistency. I like the 49ers, take them at -6.
Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts taking on the Buffalo Bills. This is going to be a really good matchup, a really close matchup, and we have a 7-point spread in this one, the Bills being the favorite and a 50.5 point over-under. I think this is going to be really close. Jonathan Taylor is going to run on this defense, and we've seen Michael Pittman, when he faces tough secondaries, he comes out on top. He looks incredible, and I think the same is going to happen here. I think the Colts at +7 is the way to go.
Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. That's right, Justin Fields and the Bears will be facing off against the guy he's idolized against, and that being Lamar Jackson. It's going to be one hell of an explosive matchup with these two quarterbacks, but one team is sufficiently better than the other, and that is the Baltimore Ravens. They just play a much better game. They are solidified on both offense and defense. And I think this is going to be a big passing game for Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to be able to pass the ball to Hollywood Brown and Rashad Bateman a lot. Also, Mark Andrews always getting his, so feel free to look at him. I'm taking the Ravens at -5. I think they're going to be able to beat up on the Chicago Bears, especially coming off of that loss to the Miami Dolphins. They're going to improve on a couple of things. I like the Baltimore Ravens here.
Up next, we have the Miami Dolphins taking on the New York Jets. The Jets said bye-bye to the Mike White era, and now they're saying hello to the Joe Flacco era? Well, Joe Flacco is starting because apparently Zach Wilson is not ready to come back. Corey Davis will be back as well. And when you look at this 3.5 point spread and this 44.5 point over-under, I think Joe Flacco is going to be a little safe. He's going to be more of a game manager in this situation. And with the talent that they have around Joe Flacco, he's going to make it work. It's going to be a close game. But at the end of the day, the Miami Dolphins are rolling on this 2-game win streak, and this defense is looking like themselves for once. I believe it's going to continue, and the Miami Dolphins are going to come out on top, and that's why I'm taking them at their money line.
Next up, we see the New Orleans Saints take on Joe Flacco's former team, the Philadelphia Eagles. The New Orleans Saints could use a quarterback right now because Trevor Siemian has not looked all that impressive since he's had to take over for Jameis Winston. Nonetheless, the Saints, they offer a really solid defense every other week. It's the beacon of inconsistency that we have in the NFL, and the Saints are the poster child for exactly that. This defense can't stop a nosebleed one week and then looks like they are playing a Super Bowl the next. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Go by that logic, it looks like the Philadelphia Eagles are in for a big day as Jalen Hurts will be able to run all over them. He's going to have wide open passing lanes to Devonta Smith and company. I think that this is going to be a huge one. And Miles Sanders is coming back this week. They have already designated him off of IR. Big news for them. So I like the Philadelphia Eagles here. I'm going to take them at their -2 spread. I think that they can at least cover that. They're going to be able to put up points. I'm not sure the Saints will be able to do that. So I'm taking the Eagles at -2.
Next up, we have the Washington football team taking on the Carolina Panthers in what some might call a revenge game, but it's really not. Ron Rivera making his way back to the Carolina Panthers, and Cam Newton is on the other side. We've got a 3.5 point spread and a 43 point over-under. The Panthers are the favorite to win this matchup, and I agree with Vegas. The Panthers are the stronger team, and I am taking them at their 3.5 point spread. I believe in Cam, I believe in this offense, and I believe that the Washington football team is not for real. The Panthers are going to put them right back in their place.
Speaking of another team that the New England Patriots have recently decimated, the Detroit Lions take on the Cleveland Browns in what should be a get-right game for Baker Mayfield and company. We're looking at this Cleveland Browns team. Nick Chubb should be back for this one. Maybe Kareem Hunt, maybe not, but they still have Dearness Johnson and Demetric Felton. All those guys are going to be able to rush the ball handily on the Detroit Lions. I don't think Jarvis Landry and Donovan Peoples-Jones are going to be asked to do too much in this offense. This week, I think it's going to be a pace down, run the ball. We're going to just absolutely bludgeon the Lions. And I think this is a game where the -11 is just a lot for the type of game both of these guys are going to play. So I'm going to actually take the under 43.5. I think that these two teams are not going to score as many points as people think. I know 43.5 points is really low, and taking the under is even lower. But at the end of the day, they are going to just run the ball and pound it. That means a moving clock all the time. I like the Browns. Take the under at 43.5.
Up next, we have the Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Las Vegas Raiders with a 1-point spread and a 49.5 point over-under. These two teams started out super hot, and they were at the top of the conference for a few weeks until they came crashing back down to earth, and these two teams are now sitting at third in their divisions. However, I think that the Cincinnati Bengals are poised to bounce back, to get back to their rightful spot as one of the top teams in the conference. The Las Vegas Raiders are still reeling, and I don't believe that they are going to catch themselves this season. The Bengals, with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, they are going to get it going against this lackluster secondary, and it's going to be the Bengals coming out on top, and I'm taking them at their spread at -1 because it doesn't get better than that.
Next up, we have two division leaders going head-to-head, and that would be the Dallas Cowboys and the Kansas City Chiefs. This game should have been flexed to Sunday Night Football. I think we can all agree to that. But the Dallas Cowboys actually come into this one as 2.5-point underdogs with an over-under set at 56.5. A lot going on for the Dallas Cowboys here as they just got Michael Gallup and they put up 43 points against the Atlanta Falcons. Now the Kansas City Chiefs come to town, but the Chiefs defense is not all that great, so it's a little worrisome to think that Vegas is taking the Chiefs in this one. I understand that Patrick Mahomes just put up 5 touchdowns and Tyreek Hill had a Tyreek Hill day and Travis Kelce had a Travis Kelce day, but you can't expect that every single week when we've only seen it once this entire season. I'm taking the Cowboys in this one. Plus 2.5 is way too much right now to give the Cowboys. I think they're going to be able to outscore Patrick Mahomes because the Chiefs defense is much worse than the Cowboys defense. I like the Cowboys plus 2.5 in this one.
And for our final 4 o'clock matchup, we have the Arizona Cardinals taking on the Seattle Seahawks, where we have a 2.5 point spread and a 48 point over-under. We don't know if Kyler Murray or DeAndre Hopkins is going to play, and that's going to tell a lot. That's going to be the difference between me taking the Cardinals at their spread at -2.5 and me taking the Seahawks at their money line. So I'm saying if Kyler and D-Hop play, or either one, really doesn't matter, I'm taking the Cardinals at their spread. But if the Seattle Seahawks are facing a DeAndre Hopkins-less and Kyler Murray-less Arizona Cardinals, you betcha the Seattle Seahawks are going to bounce back and beat the Arizona Cardinals. Take their money line.
Next up for Sunday Night Football, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers, who expect to have Joey Bosa for this game, even though he was a close contact for COVID, looks like he'll be able to play as long as he can provide 2 negative tests. He never tested positive in the first place. So, expecting Joey Bosa back for this one. No Minkah Fitzpatrick for the Steelers. It's going to be a very lopsided game. No TJ Watt for the Steelers either. I like the Chargers in this one. I think that they are much more well-rounded when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. And on defense, they're going to be able to stop Big Ben, who is just a lingering injury waiting to happen. I think at this point, the Chargers are much more poised to take on a bigger competition, and right now, they are in the spotlight. They need this win now more than ever. I'm taking the Chargers at their money line.
And for our Monday Night Football matchup, we have the New York Giants taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where we have an 11-point spread and a 49.5 point over-under. And we see that Saquon Barkley is making his return. We're going to see Kenny Golladay and Kadarius Toney and Darius Slayton for this offense. We saw the Giants earlier this season with all these weapons for a split second, and they look terrific. And the Buccaneers secondary is abysmal. So I know the Giants are going to put up a ton of points. And then we look at the Bucs. Antonio Brown is looking to make his return. We don't know if Rob Gronkowski is, but I believe Tom Brady is going to fix all the mistakes he made last week and then some. He's ready to put himself back in the conversation as MVP. And this is going to be an extremely high scoring game. That's why I'm taking the over on this matchup.
A lot of great matchups this week. A lot of football that has been sloppy already, but a lot of teams got to start cleaning it up as we head toward the playoffs. And there's a lot of things that need to start happening, a lot of things we expect to start happening. But this is the time I want to hear from you guys. Let us know in the comments below if you make any bets based on our predictions, if you agree with us on any bets. If you don't agree with us, let us know exactly why, and we'll hear you out. Maybe we'll change our bets as well. All right, well, that's going to be all for now. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell. We go live every single day. That'll be all. Peace and love.